creativity coaching, I believe, is another arm or strand of what you do. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So when I think about creativity coaching, I see this as a way of helping people to sort of unleash their creativity. And I would call myself sort of a creativity / confidence coach, that using creativity to boost confidence, to be able to sort of help people to be more confident versions of themselves. And essentially, there's so many myths about creativity that is separate from art therapy, because it is more about channeling the creativity and tapping into it. So and that's where the sort of two levels come in. So a lot of people kind of feel a bit like, oh, I'm just not a creative person. I'm just not a creative person. I don't have a creative bone in my body, and it's not possible for me to do this, to be creative. And part of that myth is that creativity is purely about art, crafts, and I mean it's possible to make a craft without particularly being creative, and it's possible to be creative without doing art. So a lot of what I do with that is help people to be able to feel a bit more confident in their creativity, and to use creativity to work through their own challenges in the sort of coaching way, which feels quite different to therapy. So yeah, sometimes people have said that they're just not a creative person, and I found myself saying some of the same things but the opposite way around. I'd say things, oh, I'm an artist, I'm not very logical. So part of what I'm striving to be modelling and doing more is more the logical, rational thinking, to break away from this, you're either logical or creative. It's not a polarity, it's we can do it all. So, and just leaning in and out of those things.
Yeah, I love that, and I agree with that entirely. And yeah, again, coming back to school, I think there is a tendency, from my perspective at least, that you know, our schooling, our education, our upbringing, maybe our parents can lead us to go into one box or another. For me, I always did quite well in school academically, and I was kind of put off, at least in my experience, like physical activities and like sport and things like that, because I always thought that you were either smart or you were physical. And similarly, some people think I'm very smart or logical or I'm creative, but I think the truth is that we all have all of those potentials within us, and ideally to become more well-rounded people, we need to try to cultivate and level up all these different skills as we can. So it's great that you're encouraging people who maybe don't see themselves as being creative that they are. What kinds of do you have any kind of initial tips or initial bits of information or advice that you give to people who are maybe in that boat where they think, I'm not really creative? Like how can they discover that?
I mean there's lots of ways to, it's easy enough for me to say just start. Easy to say just start, because a lot of it is about starting. It's about a mindset of having a bit of a growth mindset where you believe that new things are possible, to try some new things. And so actually doing some doodling, doing some like scribbling and starting like that can be a good way of making something that is more about the movement and more about the, a self-care, a self-development practice, rather than making something with the intention of it going on the wall sort of thing. So actually there's maybe something about lowering the bar, getting the lowest hanging fruit as to what you can do, which if that's a scribble, then that's a good way of starting. I see a lot of people who don't think that they're creative, however, their photography skills are like through the roof. they're on the phone, they can take photos, they'll zoom in, and they're very aware of their surroundings. So that's something that I would really encourage people to do, and to look at maybe the ordinary and create something that's quite extraordinary from that. So you can have, I don't know, like a bottle of water or something, or a kettle or a mug or something, and take a photograph of it from a different angle, or go on a walk and take photos of the weeds, and like, who's to say that it's a weed anyway, but like take photos of the cracks in the wall and things like that, that's tuning your eye into something different. And you might even then go home and draw it, or it might be that some words come to your head. It might be listening to some music might inspire you something. And yeah, it's very much about getting started and managing your expectations, that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do something that maybe combine something together. I was going to say something else about, I was going to say something else, but my brain just went. But yeah, it's just something about being able to allow what to happen.
Yeah. And that seems to be, the recurring thing again, like we're saying, even with the art therapy and again, creativity, art, expression, these words are all kind of synonymous, and encouraging people that it's okay to be as they are and express as they are.
Yeah.
So that's another modality in which you're doing that, which is great.
Yeah, and what you said about being in school and not doing the sporty stuff, and it's like academic or sporty, it's like either or. Actually, there's something really helpful about embracing that beginner's mindset of doing anything, like having a go at doing something and doing it for fun, or doing it just to have a go, even if it's a bit like going, and me and my sister did karaoke at the beginning of the year, and neither of us are brilliant singers. However, we did it and we enjoyed it, and actually we weren't doing it with the intention to then get a #1 record. We're just doing it. So the same can apply with going and going for a walk or something. We're going for a walk. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna gonna go for a little jog. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna win the Olympics. But I can still do it, or I can still strive to improve for myself. It's not all or nothing.
Definitely.